Passive income. Everybody wants passive income. Today, I'm going to go through a business idea that is very, very passive. Maybe not 100% passive, but this business idea will allow you to have a massive aspect of passive income. Why do we want passive income? Because we want to have freedom. We want to have the freedom to go have more time to go make more money, or we want to have time to go enjoy ourselves and money is continuing to come in because money gives us the resource to go do what we love. So today I'm going to review a passive income business and reoccurring revenue business idea, and this business idea can also highly likely be sold. Okay, and this is a hair salon. Okay, before you turn away from the video and be like, what the heck, how am I supposed to own a hair salon? I don't even know how to cut hair. Great. You don't need to learn how to cut hair. You don't. You don't need to learn how to cut hair. In fact, you're never going to cut hair when you own this hair salon. So you can either do this as a hair salon, a barber shop, or cutting kids' hair. It doesn't really matter. And what you're going to do here is you're going to go lease a space. You're going to go lease a space that can be turned into a hair salon. I would lean towards doing a hair salon that is for women's hair because people pay more money and they go to specific stylists. They don't want to switch it up. Guys don't care. As long as you cut it decent, we don't care, right? So I would focus more on a woman's salon. You're going to build that salon out, depending on the square footage, with so many chairs that you can, with also sinks and hair dryer. So you're going to have everything set up as if you're starting a salon. Okay, so you're going to build it out. Once you build it out, then you're going to market it to individual hairstylists, people who cut hair, independent contractors. There's a lot of people out there that cut hair. They have their clients, and they kind of run their own business as a hairstylist. But they don't produce enough money that justifies them to have their own building because they don't want to. Like, hey, all I need is a chair, a sink, and a hair dryer, and I'm willing to pay $400 to $600 a month for that. Okay, why would they pay $400 to $600 a month? Because a lease for just a normal, like bare bones, is probably going to start around $700 to $800 a month, if not more, $1,000. So they don't want to commit to that, and they want to have a nice ambiance place. And a lot of times, it's a lot less expensive for them to do that by renting a booth instead of going out and creating their own. So that's why they're going to rent from you. People want to do that. So if you can create an environment that looks very appealing, that looks great, that people want to bring their clients into to cut their hair, then they will rent from you. Okay, so let's get down to the business of this. How can we actually make money doing this? Well, if you look at let's just use an example. This is a bigger building, but a 3,000 square foot lease. Okay, 3,000 square foot lease. I kind of did the math. You could probably fit about 20 chairs in there. Okay, 20 chairs, paying you $400 to $600 a month. Okay. And then a lease for that, the average lease is about $18 to $20 per square foot per year. So the lease is going to cost you $54,000 a year. It's $4,500 a month. Okay, so you're paying $4,500 a month. You built out the lease, which is probably going to cost you $20,000 to $30,000 for all the equipment and everything. Okay, so let's do some math here. If we're charging $500 a chair, and let's say we only fill 20 chairs, right? We have 30. Okay, we have 20 chairs, and let's say we fill them all. Let's say we fill all the chairs, and that would bring us $10,000 a month in income. Okay, so we have all 20 chairs filled. That's $10,000 a month. What is our rental? What is our rent? Our rent is $4,500 a month. That's what I just said. So that puts us at a $5,500 a month cash flow, $66,000 a year in yearly cash flow from our revenue minus our rent. Okay, so and let's say we spent $30,000 to build it out, so we're at about $36,000 ROI, and $36,000. We spent $30,000 down to build it out, so you're looking at about a $6,000 return based on your money. Which the first year you might barely make money, but the next year that's when this is all becoming profit. That's where you paid $30,000 down. Everything else the business has continued to pay. So year two, everything you're making 100% of your money back. Okay. So as you continue to build this out, you're continuing to make more money. So year 2 and 3, you're doubling your money, if not tripling your money by year 4 or 5. Okay. Now if we look at this and we say, okay, let's say half the chairs are filled. Okay. And we do $500 a month times 10, that's $5,000 a month. Minus the $4,500, we're barely making money, probably not making money, okay? So you want to do the math here and say, worst case scenario, if I take if I'm only going to have 60% of the chairs filled, how much will I make? And in this scenario, if you're making 60%, it may not make sense to do this because the margin's so small. So in this scenario, what I just mentioned, I would look for a cheaper lease, okay? So you should be looking at, okay, if I fill 60% of the chairs, am I still going to make money, very good money, where it's going to be a return on my investment? Because, 20 chairs, it might be hard to fill in the community that you're at. So you might want to get a smaller lease. Maybe you get a smaller one with like 5 or 6 chairs, but you can fill them. And if you get 3 filled, then you're making money on it. Business is a math equation. Okay, this business right here. This is a kind of a real estate play. You're kind of using somebody else's property. You don't have the liability of owning the property. You just have the liability of the lease. So your lease is probably going to be anywhere from, a business lease is anywhere from like 2 to 6 years, okay? So I would try to go maybe 2 years. So you got to understand what you're committing to. You're committing to the build-out cost. You're committing to 2 years of the lease. How much anticipated revenue will be coming in at the end of that 2 years or 3 years? When you sit down and you do the math, you should have a return on your investment from the money that you paid out, which would be initially just that $30,000 build-out or $40,000 build-out. At the end of it, you should be making, I would say, at least 80 grand, because then you've justified taking that risk, okay? So you shouldn't just want to be a business owner just because now you can put it behind your name on Instagram. No, you should want to be a business owner so you can go make more money, okay? So this is a money play. This is a real estate play where you're sitting down and you're calculating how much you're going to make on the ROI. Okay, so why do I like this business? Number one, passive income, obviously, that we just mentioned. Number two, recurring revenue. Once you get people in there and they like the facility, they like taking their people there, it's recurring revenue. They're going to continue to make money. If it's high-end, if you're in a city area and you can create a high-end one, you can really make money on this, but there is a lot more expense and a little bit more risk there. Number three, you don't own the building. You don't have the liability of ownership. I don't want the liability. If something goes out, I can call somebody, go fix the building so I can continue to make my revenue. This business is sellable. If you can show that you built this up and there's a profit margin, there's probably a good chance that it's going to be sold for 3 to 5 times the profit. So, the biggest thing the buyer is going to look at is what are the odds that if ownership changes, are any of the stylists going to leave and go somewhere else? Is there a relationship there? Or is it purely just based on the building? If it's purely based on the building, this is a business that I would want to buy. Okay, so I would recommend looking into this business idea if you do work a full-time job and you're like, hey, it doesn't make sense for me to step away from my job and just become a full-time entrepreneur, but this is something that I can do on the side where I can check in on it every now and then, make sure the place isn't burned down or that nobody's done anything, and market it. You can kind of do it on the side and make very good money. And in this scenario, you're making $66,000 extra a year. Even if you cut that in half, $33,000 extra a year is probably a lot of money to a lot of people. Okay, so if you like today's content, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you.